Hey guys, dating coach Harry Wilmington here, introvert dating expert. So in 2013, after spending a few years selling copies of my various ebooks and programs on how to date, I started a podcast. And the podcast was called the Stop Losing Women podcast. Now, the reason I started this podcast was because in my younger years, I was a very, very bad dater. Not bad like treating women bad, but bad like I could not get a date to save my life. My high school years, I think I had like one girlfriend for 2 weeks, and I went my entire college career with no girlfriend. I had a few dates here and there, but it just wasn't clicking for me. I was a guy that was nervous. I was introverted. I didn't know how to be able to let women know that I liked them without freaking out. And then the times that I would actually do it, they freaked out. So, because I didn't know what to do. And so I wrote a book called The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which is currently available at introvertdatingsuccess.com. But in that book, I really went through like all the things that I had done to try to attract women, and then explaining to guys why those things actually did not work. And so in an attempt to try to sell that book, I figured, hey, what better way to do that than to start a podcast where I can sell the book, but also I can let guys like have access to all of my dating knowledge, all the things that I did right, all the things that I did wrong, a lot of things that other dating gurus out there weren't really diving into, and just bringing up topics that we could talk about that affect you as a guy in the dating spectrum, things you might not even consider. And that was a more general podcast. Like now, obviously, I have the Introvert Dating Success podcast, and I started that podcast because I recognized as an introvert myself, I got very, very good at dating. But my fellow introverted men out there were still having problems because there's a lot of social issues and a lot of anxiety issues that introverts deal with that they don't really talk about, but it hinders it from dating. So I wanted to really get specific and start talking to introverted men. But as I've done that, I've had people that were fans of my previous show write to me and ask me this one important question, which is, Harry, where are your episodes of Stop Losing Women? Well, I took that show down because I wanted to concentrate more on this show. But in looking back, as I was going through some of my archives a few months ago, I realized that a lot of that information, part of the reason guys were so affected by it was because it just really did speak to a bunch of areas about dating that just aren't being talked about. And I really dive deep into subjects that I got told by a lot of guys that, oh man, my perspective on this particular dating thing, I never thought about it this way. This made me be better to my girlfriend, or I couldn't get dates before because I didn't know that it was just like this one thing that I needed to change. But as soon as I heard this episode of this podcast, I was able to figure out what I was doing wrong. And now I'm getting girls almost every day. So I realized that there was a value in the content because, I spent 5 years doing the show. So in 5 years, over 400 shows were put out. Like, it's packed full of information and stuff that's just absolutely valuable. And that's not just me saying it because I made it, but that's based on, guys that wrote me and that are they left comments on my iTunes for this show, for the Introvert Dating Success show, saying, hey, where's your show at? Like, I used to listen to it all the time. It was helping me with my dating life. I wish I could find a way to get access to it. Like, where's the show? So I figured if people are asking for it, I got to put it out there. So starting today, you now have access to the Stop Losing Women podcast archives. Very, very simple. It's over 400 shows. They're not edited, so you're going to still hear the Stop Losing Women intro. You might hear a couple of shows where I'm talking about, oh, this book's coming out soon, this is that. But if you've listened to my Introvert Dating Success show, you know that the bulk of these shows is about just information, straight up, no holds bar information about how you can become a better man, how you can become more confident, how you can become a better dater, how you can learn to treat women the way they need to be treated, but also know what things actually work to attract them versus the stuff you've just been told by the media, okay? So you have a couple of options. Option one is you can do a month-to-month subscription for the shows where you'll have access to the archives and you just pay a monthly fee, or you can pay a one-time fee and have access to all the shows forever, okay? Whichever one you choose is great. If you decide to go for the month-to-month, it's not a thing where you got to pay month-to-month until it's like whatever. You can do that until you decide you've heard enough of my show, and then you can just like stop paying altogether. Or you can do the one-time option and you have unlimited access to those shows forever. The choice is up to you, but if you were somebody that has been struggling with dating like I used to, and you really want to start to figure out how to build your confidence, you want to know why it is that women don't like being complimented all the time, or you want to know what things actually really get them attracted, or you want to know the secret as to why bad boys get so many women and how you can use those same tactics to get women, but for good, then these are just a small example of the shows. And if you actually go to the main page for these shows, you'll get to see the list of all the topics that are talked about in these shows. It's a pretty big graphic, but it loads up pretty quickly on the page. But the point is, you'll be able to see the kinds of things we're talking about. In addition to that, I have a few shows that you can listen to for free from that archive. So take a listen to some of those shows. If you like what you hear in those shows and you like what you've heard on my Introvert Dating Success podcast, then you're pretty much getting the same kind of style of me telling you information in this archive. And if you like that stuff, you're going to love the 400 plus shows that you're about to listen to, okay? So that's it. Like, this isn't really a hard sell. If you like my stuff and you want to learn how to date better, then you're going to want to get this. And if not, then at least tell your friends about it and listen to my Introvert Dating Success show, because it's free. Like, I just want you to get the information, and I want you to have the best possible dating life that you possibly can. That said, I spent a lot of time and a lot of years being able to go through all the trials and errors I went through to be able to give you the right kind of information. So that's why I'm charging for it as opposed to getting it for free. But I promise you the value you're gonna get out of this, in addition to the money you're gonna save by learning the kind of women to not date and then knowing what to do the first time, the right way, when you do meet the right girl, is gonna be absolutely priceless. So that's it. Go check it out. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys later. And thanks for listening. Peace.